Friends, it is with great pleasure that I get to bring to you today an updated DINOMORPHIA deck profile. I understand that I recently just made one. However, I have just come across honestly, an opportunity I just couldn't pass up. I happen to make a friend who has a friend who managed to get their hands on Dimension Force early. And so through them, I was able to acquire all of the cards to complete pure DINOMORPHIA. I cannot even begin to describe to you how elated I absolutely am. I am positively beaming with excitement to be able to bring this to you so early. And I have just an immense amount of gratitude to be able to do this for you. So without further ado, with all of the official cards, I present to you the updated pure DINOMORPHIA list. And let me tell you, it has got the spiciest of spice. So here we go. Let's set the extra deck aside. Let's go straight into it. We are playing 3 Therizia. Of course, you're always going to be playing your 3 Therizia. However, you are now only playing 2 copies of DINOMORPHIA Diplos. It is unnecessary to be able to play 3 copies of Diplos, I should say, as Frenzy is just a superior DINOMORPHIA domain. Moving on, we are cutting down on the Heavenly Prison and only playing 2 copies. It has been a little clunky, however, Heavenly Prison still provides a good amount of consistency, access to your blowout cards such as Ferret Flames, which are just way more powerful now, especially with the introduction of Psychic and Punisher, and the continuous halving of your life points through not only Domain, but Frenzy, Kintragina, and Rexter. So, 2 of him. Our hand trap lineup has changed just a little bit. We are still playing the 3 Ash. Effect Veiler has now been cut down to 2. I have found that it has been pretty clunky. I wouldn't cut it down to 1 simply because you do summon it to be able to go into Hauk to summon out for Celine, the other one. So 2 I find to be quite appropriate. However, if you find yourself needing an extra card to be able to fill out because some of these cards are quite expensive, let's just be honest, by all means play 3 copies of Effect Veiler. It's very powerful right now, being able to hit Alibur, being able to hit Albion, and anything, really. Anything that you find is Effect Veilerable and strong. 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This is not only to combat the Brave engine, but also we are now playing Emergency Teleport in this list. You will find that Emergency Teleport is very versatile in this specific list, and when we get to that point, I will explain some of the versatility of the card throughout. So that's it for the monster lineup. We are playing 14 monsters. This is a 40 card deck. There's 14 monsters, 10 spells, and 16 traps. You still do, of course, always want to go first. 3 Pot of Prosperity. This is another reason I wanted to update the list so soon, is because I finally got my copies in. Oh boy, this card is yeah, this card's expensive. There's no getting around it. You can, like I said, very easily substitute this out for Pot of Duality. However, you won't be able to do it in the same turn that you want to do something like a Teleport or make a Hauk play or anything of the sort. So just be aware of that. We are playing, in addition to this now, 3 copies of Emergency Teleport. This summons out the Ogre and allows you to make a synchro play going into your Psychic and Punisher using Rexterm and Ghost Ogre. In addition to that, you can also make F.A. Dawn Dragster using your normal summoned Diplos or Therizia turn 1 to be able to protect your back row against cards like Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, and the like. It also really helps against Infinite Impermanence, or should that be dropped on you. Continuing out the spells and ending the lineup, we are still playing the 3 Crossout and the 1 Called by the Grave. This deck is very susceptible to Ash Blossom, especially now with the 3 Frenzy in the list and Domain. So you want to protect your traps for going through. You're paying half of your life points for them. You really want them to get there. So make sure your plays can get through, and you will be happy. Happy camper. Starting with the traps, I am continuing to play 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. There is a very strong argument to play Solemn Strike over Judgment in this slot, simply due to the fact that, again, you want to protect your domain and your frenzy by going off from Ash Blossom. And Strike can hit Ash Blossom should you not open up a crossed out or called by the grave. That being said, Judgment is always live, and being able to negate a summon is sometimes just a win. Depending on the summon, a normal summon, especially against decks like Flu Wonderies. Going into the Dinomorphia traps, pretty standard. You play your 3 domain. On top of that now, however, you are playing your 3 Dinomorphia Frenzy. Pick them up when it comes out, because I promise you this card will probably be a $10 to $12 ultra rare once the engine starts seeing play. Frenzy is just the superior domain. Simply activating Frenzy puts out a Kentragina and a Rexsturm on the field. It is just the superior way to summon out Rexsturm. You can still get into Rexsturm through domain, however, you do sacrifice the Kentragina that you summon because you do have to use a fusion monster. So there's really nothing more to say. This also provides more trap cards in your graveyard to be able to protect yourself from burn effects, specifically against cards like Sword Soul Strategist Longwan from burning you for that last 1200, because man does that hurt. Their level 10 synchro that can also burn you for 1200, that can vary, that anything that burns you, as well as more specifically Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. Oh boy, do I have a hard time going up against this card, especially when you're activating to pay 600 and then you're burning yourself, or you burn yourself and then you pay half. It really adds up, and you just want as many ways to protect yourself against burn damage as possible. In addition to the new Frenzy card, we did keep the Brute down to, we dropped the Brute down to 1, excuse me. I was playing 2 originally because of Trap Trick. And then Dinomorphia Sonic, I have added in here as an additional target now for Therizia, because being able to open up one of these is your core play, and then because that's now so much more consistent, Therizia has more options to be able to set directly from the deck. And again, Sonic is very strong in being able to stop things like Lightning Storm, like Forbidden Droplet, especially. Pretty much anything that you need to be able to stop spells and traps, Branded Fusion, whatever you want. You can tell I'm just laying on the branded hate. That deck is very powerful, though, and you have to be prepared for it. So, in addition to that, Sonic also protects against battle damage. None of these traps protect against battle damage. Sonic is there, and it can come up from time to time, especially if you manage to go through your Frenzy plays, get yourself down to 1,000 life points, and you still have that normal summon Diplos out on the field that is only 1,000 attack. You gotta be careful sometimes, and you have to watch your life points and really read the board in terms of whether or not you need to have your life points again. So that does it for the Dinomorphia trap lineup. Rounding things up, 2 Ferret Flames. Ferret Flames is actually way more live now that you're halving down to 1,000 more consistently. That being said, I wanted to keep the deck down to a nice tight 40, and this was where I decided to make the compromise. Ferret Flames is very strong. Make no mistake. This card is an utter blowout. It is usually your primary target to grab with Heavenly Prison. But there's really not much to be said about this card. Read it, weep, and realize that this card is going to be the future of a pure Dinomorphia build. Then rounding up the traps, your 3 Imperm, pretty clean cut and dry. You're playing 10 hand traps in the deck with your 3 Ash, your 2 Ogre, your 2 Effect Veiler, and your 3 Imperm. I am very proud of this deck. I am very confident in this deck and its current build. If there are changes that you would like to see, or you have any recommendations, leave them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to engage in a conversation with all of you. Now let's go ahead and hop over to the extra deck. We are still playing 3 Kentragina. Kendra is actually so much more viably strong in this build because you consistently get yourself down to 1,500 life points, meaning she will usually be at 3,000 to 3,500 attack and allowing you to push for harder damage during the battle phase of your next turn, specifically now with Psychic and Punisher, which is just an absolute powerhouse. The card's dumb. I summoned it once in my friend in a playtest duel, and I managed to have myself at 500 life points while he was still at 8,000. And in the battle phase, I activated my effect to buff him up by 7,500 attack and swinging over a 3,000 attack monster for 8,000 damage exact. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That's stupid. This card's stupid. I can't wait to show you it. We are playing only 2 Rexsturm. I have found that while in my testing, the third one can come up. You are usually wiping the game by the time the second one hits the field, and you're going to always have that one on the field anyway when you usually synchro the other one off with a Ghost Ogre or an Ash Blossom or whatever have you to be able to make your Psychic and Punisher. And then we are playing the 2 Stealth Bergia. There is an argument to be made where you could just opt out for the 1 Stealth Bergia and play a 3rd Rexsturm. I do have it. It is just kind of sitting right here if you want it. That was just a bit of a flex, I'm not going to lie. But Stealth Bergia can come up, and it has its options too, to be able to punch in for a lot of damage, summon your Bergia, and sit on it until your opponent activates a monster effect with like 1,000 attack, and then just burn them for game. I did that in my tournament today. Even though I didn't do very well in the tournament, it did come up where Bergia just straight up won me the game that way. So that's it for the fusions. For the links, we are still playing Dark, and we are playing the Hulk. We are playing Selene, and we are playing Access Code. These are your dudes. These are the only links that you play. They're the only links you need to play. Dark can search you a Thervisia when it gets destroyed. Hulk is just, it's stupid. And Selene and Access Code are just stupid. So just play the stupid cards and win the stupid game. There's really nothing more to say about that. Absolutely flawless. The Xyz we've cut down on. I've opted to only play the Dolka and the Logia. Dolka comes up in specific situations when you want to be able to stop things like a Guru. I'm looking at you, Angus. You want to stop your Gurus. You want to be able to protect yourself against something like Prank Kids, where they have multiple effects that they're going to be resolving. Anything that would happen on your turn that you want to stop, like multiple monster effects. Dolka is just Dolka, let's be honest. It's very strong. And then Logia is there to skill out games when you just have your level 4s on the field and you don't know what to do with them. Your opponent's low on resources. In a simplified game state, Logia is just a very, very, very powerful card. And that's it for the Xyz, honestly. And then our 2 synchros are F.A. Don Dragster and Psychic and Punisher. Don Dragster is there for turn 1 when you normal summon Thervisia or Diplos. You do your thing, you set your trap, you dump your Thervisia to the grave or your Brute, or what have you, now that you have more options to summon your fusions during your opponent's turn with Frenzy. And then if you open Emergency Teleport, you can simply summon out your Ghost Ogre if you don't want to use it as a sort of disruption during your opponent's turn. Or again, if you don't open to level 4, you can just set it and use Ghost Ogre as a disruption on your opponent's turn. But you can just you can synchro those off into a Don Dragster in defense position, protect your life points. You get a free negate out of it, and honestly, you are usually doing yourself a favor by putting that level 4 into the graveyard and summoning out something else in defense, because Diplos and Thervisia are only going to come out in with 1,000 or 1,500 attack, and when you half your life points so many times, it can become a very, very harsh liability to have them on the field that way. So having the option to be able to Don Dragster on your turn 1 is very powerful, and it just helps you out in the long run. So let's talk for a second about this card. If this card ever hits $30, you bet your bottom dollar you better go pick this. If even it hits $40, you need to pick this card up. This card reads, it's 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner monster. It is a level 11 synchro with 3,500 attack and a 3,500 defense. It is ridiculously strong, and it only gets stronger. So let's go ahead and read this card. Yes? While your life points are less than or equal to your opponent's, DINOMORPHIA, thank you. This synchro summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Yeah, good luck popping this with your blazing, your whatever, popping with anything. Good luck targeting this card. Good luck doing anything to this card, my friend. Good luck. Just good luck. Okay, I'm gonna go overboard. Anyway, once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, then target one monster you control and one card your opponent controls. Banish them. At the start of your battle phase, this is where it kicks into gear, baby. You can make this card gain attack equal to the difference in your life points and your opponent's. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Like I said earlier, I managed to buff him up by 7,500 attack because I did no damage to my opponent and I just halved my life. It was absurd to a ridiculous degree. This card is already 3,500 attack. Even buffing it by 1,000 will get you over something like you just bait out your opponent's Dragoon, and then you can attack over it. This card's just this card just is. It just is. It simply is. I'll go ahead and briefly go over the side deck. This is my field center that I choose to play. I don't know what this card is, but it looks like Kentrigina, so I like it. My friend gave it to me for free. Thank you, Ricky. I play 3 Nibiru for going second, and because I no longer need to side deck skill drain, I was able to fit in the Gamma. Gamma is just always going to stay strong. It is also very, very strong in conjunction with Nibiru, alongside the Effect Veilers and Imperms that we're already playing in the main deck, allowing your Nibiru to go through much more consistently if your opponent summons something out like a Griffin Rider or a Baron. It allows Nibiru to be more viable in this sort of a meta. That's it for the monsters in the side deck. Excuse me, that's a mess. Let's just put these aside. Come here. I know, new sleeves. You're good. There we go. I am still playing the 3 Hatrunade. I believe that this card is just superior right now to Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm is more versatile, yes, but when it comes to just raw power, I believe that Hatrunade is 1, it's more live. You can draw this card in your second turn and still play it. 2, it returns the cards. So cards like Lord of the Heavenly Prison, where is he? There he is. It can get around Lord of the Heavenly Prison, which any back row deck is likely playing 2 or 3 copies of, specifically Eldritch. It gets rid of, if they're forced to judgment this, allowing your plays to go through more often. It's just, I like this card. It's just a good card, and I've seen a lot of success with it. Topping off the Spell and Trap hate, I am playing a Red Reboot and a Hellbreeze Feather Duster. I just wanted a few more options other than Cosmic Cyclone. That was another card I didn't talk about in the last deck profile. Cosmic Cyclone, you have to pay 1,000 life points for, and when you're halving your life points, paying half to have a laugh, it doesn't work to pay 1,000. So Feather Duster is just Duster, play it. And Red Reboot's at 1 is just play it. It's very strong, especially when you're going for game on your second turn. You can usually just draw it or have it set and blow out your opponent and then just beat them in for stuff. And the last 3 that we're playing in the side deck are 3-Dimensional Barrier. This is here not only as an oppressive card going first against any deck, really, that you need to play it against, but more often than not, Despia. But this is also a cross-out target for your protection. When your opponent goes to flip their own against you, you can cross out it and make sure that your Kentrigina or your Domain or your Frenzy or any of those cards are going to be live and accessible. However, it is still really funny for flipping this card in the battle phase when they attack into your 2,000 attack Kentrigina, and it just suddenly becomes a big old fat 4K body. So that is it. I'm genuinely so stoked that I was able to get these cards early. I didn't expect to. I was playing this at my locals, and the guy I was playing against he was like, "Oh, hey, do you need the new card, Rexterm?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you got one, sure, I'll pick it up." And then I looked in his binder, and the dude's just got like 5 of them. He's got like 5 of them. He's got like 7 Psychic Punishers, exactly 3 Frenzy. Oh, I was supremely elated, and I want to share that expression through here with you. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Learn something new today. Like, subscribe, do the stuff. You got it. I appreciate y'all. Take care.